My name's Megan Priswara.
I'll be David.
You'll be David, okay.
Yes.
Megan and David, we're married. We live in New York City. We're raising our two daughters in one of the busiest, craziest, awesomest cities in the world.
It's actually our apartment that we're renovating for ourselves here in the neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen, which is in Midtown Manhattan. And we're working together as builder and architect team.
We absolutely love this neighborhood. We love New York City. We met in Delaware, how long ago? 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yes.
And it was Dave who encouraged me to come to New York City. I came, started my career, and Dave followed about a year later. And we've been here ever since, growing our family, our business, and our dreams. We have had 4 homes in this neighborhood within a couple block radius, each time expanding for our family, and now we are finally in our permanent home.
In New York, you move 2 blocks, it changes your perspective on everything. And
Grocery store changes, your coffee shop changes, but we're still in the neighborhood.
we added another little kid, and we added a business, and then we added another business. COVID actually made us make some big decisions. Would New York come back from COVID? Should we stay in New York or should we move on? And we hunkered down and we said, we love this city and we're gonna make this even more and raise our kids here. And we decided that we had been here for so long, it was time to actually own a part of the city. We've been building for other people and making their beautiful dreams of their homes theirs, but we wanted to make part of it ours.
We own a business together, East and Gray Studio, and our focus is an integrated project delivery approach where we provide the architecture, the design to create bespoke living spaces for clients who want to create their own little oasis like we're doing here in New York City.
Yeah, my team works hand in hand from the beginning of the project with them to ensure that what they've designed is something that can be built and we build it well. We ensure that the process is the best process that can be from beginning to end.
We're passionate about what we do, and we're excited to share a little bit about our story and what we're up to. Hi, good. Can I just get a large strip with a little splash of regular milk? All right, I got my coffee, and we're on our way to the job site. We thought we would take a detour and stop at 56th Street, which is where our first apartment was.
We were on the southeast corner of that building there. And also our current temporary rental while we're doing our renovation is across the street from that building.
So clearly our roots are really deep here in Hell's Kitchen. We love this neighborhood and we've stayed within this actually 4-block radius because 58th is where we moved after we had our first daughter. But let's go take a look. And then now we're over here.
Now we live in this thing, which you can't see because of the sidewalk shed. But this is 57 stories, but it's really not. It's a play on 57th Street, and the building is actually missing 9 floors so that you feel like you're going to 57th.
That's a funny story, yeah. We looked in different neighborhoods. The buildings change as you move throughout the city a little bit. You have pre-war buildings, loft buildings, more modern 60s era buildings, and they change a little bit, but.
We were in a contract to purchase a loft that was definitely a gut. We were pretty far into it, and the way I phrase it is at the last minute, we took the last exit off of I-95 before the bridge.
We screeched off the ramp.
Because we didn't want to have to pay the toll and what we saw coming. Probably the best quote that I remember came from our oldest daughter, Callie, when we did the walkthrough of a new construction project, and we were on our way out, and she was 7, and she said, well, it looks like we're not buying this place.
In front of the broker. So we Priswaras, we wear our heart on our sleeve. There were no secrets there, but we were not, that one was not for us. Enough about the past. Let's go to our future home, forever home. Let's get out of here.
What appeals to you about Hell's Kitchen? Why do you like Hell's Kitchen?
The restaurants, the vibrancy, the proximity to Central Park.
And we're home again.
Home
Well,
again.
not yet. We are at our construction site.
It's going to be a year-plus long construction project. We have 2,800 interior square feet, 1,200 exterior square feet. So it's about 4,000 total square feet that we are rebuilding inside of an existing building from the early 1900s.
So this is the foyer. We have an amazing skylight that we have blocked off right now because we're using that as scaffolding so we can do work upstairs. Here we have Reese's bedroom.
And the girls cannot wait to get their own bedrooms and bathrooms.
And I cannot wait for the girls to get their own bedrooms and
The
bathroom.
daily fighting over who gets the sink first.
The girls' rooms haven't changed significantly in size and layout. We built the walls all over again. They've shifted slightly. They're going to be pretty cool. Yeah, the last bit of framing that we have to do that the guys are working on now is the ceiling framing. And we just finished adjusting sprinklers. That's all done, so now we can put the ceiling in and get ready to finish our ductwork for our HVAC, and then we're gonna start doing electric so we can close this place in.
For the renovation, I'm most excited about having my own room with a loft and like not having to share with all of my family members. Oh, also, I got to design my room with my mom because she's gonna use like a big piece of paper and use her watercolor painting that she's learned to do. Nice. And a big heart.
What do you like renovating?
No.
Why not?
Because it takes forever.
Reese, how about you? Do you like this process?
No, because there's no pretty stuff.
What we realized throughout the evolution of looking is what's important to us, you know, what fits our lifestyle, and that's being close to Central Park. So Dave and I both run and we're very active. So every morning during the week and on the weekends, one of us is in Central Park. So to take us out of that would have been tricky. You know, there's other places to run in the city, but living in this urban nest, we need for our own mental health to have the park and to be able to run and to feel like we're distanced a little bit from the craziness and the chaos of the city. We also have access to the waterfront along Hudson River on the west side. And this apartment has a terrace. It has a parking spot in the basement, which is wild and a huge bonus.
And here is our den.
A more functional space with the sectional for my parents with the Murphy bed that pulls out. It's kind of our multi-purpose room, our guest space. Piano lessons will happen there.
And it's going to have a steel and glass pocket door system with some curtains so you can wall that room off and go and hide in there.
We had a relatively large kitchen, especially for New York City standards, but it was not quite big enough to put an island in. We moved this wall, what was it, 11 inches, 13 inches, 12, about a foot. But we didn't really want to make the den smaller, so we moved the next wall a foot. We spent a lot of time mocking up island configurations and sizes, and this is what you see on the floor, I guess. The kitchen now will be a big U shape with a nice island in the middle. This full wall will be our freezer, double oven, refrigerator, and then the cooktop, the induction cooktop will be over here. We're getting rid of gas in the kitchen. What I'm really excited about is the extra ceiling height that we found.
2.5 feet.
That means that we're gonna be able to do this massive 64-inch tall brass hood with a bronze ombre from dark to lighter. I'm so excited. I mean, it's really gonna like lift the space up here and draw your eye up. Having a nice kitchen with also great appliances. Maybe I'm faking myself into thinking that I'm gonna cook at some point, but maybe I'll have time when our renovation is done to cook instead of, you know, cereal or takeout for dinner. And then this is one of the bigger windows where we're gonna extend the countertop through here with a couple of little stools or poofs to sit, have breakfast, do homework, that sort of thing. It was a fine enough apartment. It looked on the outside like a nice finished space and, you know, was move-in ready. But I don't know, move-in ready and what we stand for.
Livable for what we want to be about.
Yeah.
Most of the housing stock in New York City is really, really old. I mean, I'm old. It's older than me. But In order to live the way that we live in the year 2025 and beyond, changes have to be made. We can't live the way that we lived in 1930. Apartments come up for sale and they need change. They need updating. You want to raise your family the way that people raise their family today and have those amenities. Basically, the walkthrough prior to closing, where we learned that 6 of the HVAC units were non-functional. It was a 100-degree day and we basically had no air conditioning in the living room. So I had to run out purchasing a temporary air conditioner on a 100-degree day in New York City. Then we learned that the sinks in the bathroom were starting to fall apart. There were leaks. The floor was coming up. The apartment has washer dryer. The dryer, which was a vented dryer, supposed to be to the outside, turned out that it was vented to the room that it was in and not to the outside. So every time you used the dryer, it blew dryer dust and moist air into the room and created mold problems. Our kids got sick.
Our kids got sick, found out we had mold. So our speed at which we decided to renovate kind of accelerated the longer we lived here. We realized that there were things we need to do for the health of our family, for our comfort. So we decided to gut renovate this place. Moving through the living room, we'll have a beautiful stone bench with the fireplace. We're gonna build out a curved headpiece with the TV and hidden speakers and all that stuff. So this is where our wet bar will be, which we'll use for entertaining and for my daily seltzer consumption, and the wine fridge and a beverage cooler so the kids can grab drinks. And then the rest of the living room will extend beyond that. We're gonna have a nice, beautiful art piece here with some sconces to the side. TV, this will be kind of like the main living room. Anyway, let's keep moving. It's always helpful to look at things in a little bit of the light of the space. This is our stone flooring, which is gonna be on the portals between the living room and the foyer and the stairs. This is our wood for the paneling that's gonna go up and around the portals. This is our wet bar in our kitchen. The green is our kitchen cabinetry. The stone is what we're thinking for the countertops, which we'll pick the slabs out later. This is our fireplace stone. So then some of the softer furnishings we're starting to pull together. This is a gorgeous wool and silk rug, which feels beautiful and works really well with the fireplace. It looks great, I love it. We need, pillows. We have some furniture in the kitchen, the dining space, and the living room that's all gonna have some soft components to it. It's helpful and fun to start to also see some of the beautiful things next to some of the really dusty, gritty stuff, because it's helping me visualize and get excited about what's coming. So I can't wait. Our powder room back here, we're gonna do a very cool map custom feature with little lights that will light up all of the places where we've lived in this neighborhood on that map. And then we'll do stone paneling, and the faucet there is very unique. I don't think I'll give a spoiler alert on that just yet, but it's very unique and exciting. And we spent about 1.5 to 2 years working through the planning, the design, the approvals process, which in New York City is not for the faint of heart, going through the building review process, the city review process.
It doesn't normally take 2 years to do that. Megan took her time in her planning process because we didn't need to do it right away.
Having the ability to live in a space as you're thinking through planning ideas is often helpful. So we had the luxury of being able to do that while we could slowly plan and weren't in a crunch to design and move in right away. We were here, we took our time designing, but we also knew that we wanted to do this sooner rather than later. All right, we're coming upstairs to our bedroom and bathroom and office and wet bar. This used to be just the long hallway, right? We pushed this wall in about 2 feet so that we can do a wet bar, which will be my morning coffee station. We'll have a sink, coffee, and then some tall cabinetry. It's not lost on me that this is bigger than some New York City kitchens, which we found extra space here too. We found a couple of feet.
24 inches.
24 inches across this whole length. So we're going to take advantage of that. And then walking through here, this is going to be our office.
This wall was the closet, so you couldn't see
this
into the
was
skylight. So we
solid
opened this
wall.
up, and this is going to have a glass going out into the skylight that our desk will sit in front of.
Yeah, I mean, this is some of the best light in the apartment that comes through. And normally this is open to the foyer. We get great light through here. So to have an office space like this is going to be awesome. The bed will be here, but then there'll be a path around, and back here will be storage on both sides. So it'll be kind of a walk-through closet, and it's gonna be a good amount of storage. And it'll run all the way to the bathroom door, and then into the bathroom. So the door will open this way. We'll have a big tall cabinet here for linens and our hamper. Patrick had a really good idea of creating a little spot to put your cell phone as you enter before you shower, or your watch. The shower will be in this corner, which is where it was before. We're gonna have recessed flush shower heads, which are very cool. We'll have the hand shower, more cabinetry with all of that extra space that we found. Then the sink, and then this will be my Zen zone. So my concrete bathtub is gonna go here, where you can see the light. This is be my happy place in order to deal with all of this stuff in New York City. And kids, this is my hiding spot. So. All right, we're on our terrace, which is one of the prized possessions of this apartment. Not every apartment in the city has a terrace, obviously. So we were super excited to find this space. It's 1,200 square feet, which is the size of our last apartment. And it's a massive amount of space that we're trying to figure out exactly what to do with. But we have a barbecue here, which is, when I moved to the city, I remember Dave and I complaining that one of the things we missed the most about the suburbs was grilling. So we have a grill, we have a pizza oven, the Uni pizza oven, table to have summer meals with our family and with our friends. We have some weeds. We had some plants and trees, and we don't have green thumbs. Figuring out how to shade it is really important. As you can see, the sun does come down and beat on us. Coming around, it kind of wraps around, and there's the grassy knoll over here. Views of the west, so the sun sets over on this side, which is a great little spot at night. TV, there's a shed. So we've gotten, some storage in there, which is great. But, it's just an incredible space to be able to sit, look at the buildings. I mean, we see the Hearst Tower, we see Columbus Circle, we see the tallest residential building in the Western Hemisphere. It's a gem of a spot. All right, we want you to meet Patrick. He's an integral part of our team, and he's our head of design. So Patrick is helping us with the terrace.
Hey.
Well, he's helping us with everything, but hey.
You're all very late. I don't know, where have you been?
Been wandering around the apartment.
Keeping 2 kids alive, trying to keep the business together,
Okay.
and figure out this whole renovation
Didn't
thing.
stop for coffee?
And coffee, always coffee, always coffee. We need to actually take a step back and talk about the terrace design in a bigger capacity. We've looked at pavers, which I think we found a paver that we love. We've talked about a fire pit, but I think we need to figure out what the right layout is here.
Right.
And
I think even going backwards in the way we dealt with the inside is that, what are the functions first of all, right? What do you need to achieve, and then go from there.
we want to be able to cook and clean up out here, but it doesn't need to overtake the terrace. I think the terrace should support the eating and the lounging.
Right.
So the table, I'm happy with the table that we've got. It extends to have 12 people.
Yeah. And so the hope is to reuse all the furniture you've already purchased, right? And to work that into the scheme.
I'd like to. I like what we picked and we spent money on it. I don't think we need to buy new out here. I think we want to make what we have work.
Okay. And then with the samples, we've looked at pavers versus wood. Where did you land?
No wood.
No wood.
Even the sample has been sitting here for a couple weeks and it's silvered.
It's aging.
I mean, look at the back of
wow.
it.
Yeah.
It has already deteriorated to a point where I would not be happy with. There's certain things I'm okay with weathering, like maybe some brass, bronze stuff, but not that. So this is the one that I like the best. I think these compete too much with this stucco that's already here, that the building owns, that we can't do anything with. I think that kind of, I mean, it's okay. I don't love it.
I think it's a little samey. And I think this, I'm gonna veto.
That's gross. Yeah, it's gross. It just looks dated.
Yeah,
and this just feels really dark.
yeah.
I like that this has some interest. There's also like kind of some green in it. Open this table up.
There we go.
That'll be gorgeous.
Yeah.
On top.
And this is the
so that's
fire pit,
the
right?
sample that I'm thinking for the fire pit. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, like not too dark. I think this is too light.
It gets so bright here that that is just gonna like
it's gonna
blind you.
Yeah.
Basically. And this is nice
Yeah.
and soft.
Yeah.
And
Because we
again,
got full direct sun. Finishes aside, I love the idea of some shade here because in order to use it, we need shade. It gets too sunny, too bright. But I think my biggest fear with the pergola is how it's going to make the interior of our bedroom feel. I think that's my other thing is like keeping it flexible. If we put a pergola out here, it's permanent. Like there's your shade.
gotcha. Yeah.
And while I don't absolutely love this type of umbrella, when it opens, it does give you a great amount of shade. So I think we need to replace the umbrella. It's dry rotted.
Yeah, that's definitely. And then what's the story with the awning that was there?
Yeah, we've got to figure out. Like this is just a bizarre place for it. So in order to get the shade, it extends out to about where Dave is, and then you have to like hide next to the building, which is not really where you want to sit.
And it's not where the sun comes.
It's not where the
sun is out here.
Like you
we
notice
don't really
right now
need
it's
it there.
shaded here. I think we just kill this, get rid of it. What's your opinion on the pergola thing?
I have to think it through.
Okay.
I totally agree with you with I love sunlight, but there's times where it's like sitting in a toaster oven when you're out here in the summertime. So we do need a way to block the sun, but I don't want to make another room out here. This thing. So I don't know what the right answer is. I think you guys need to kind of map this out as to what it would look like.
Well, can we, I
And
guess,
we can
I
talk it
honestly,
through.
from all of this, I think you've answered the question. I think you've argued so many cases of not doing it, right? You're
Yeah.
blocking the views, blocking light. You don't want you want flexibility.
Yeah.
I think you've just weighed up all the options and realized you don't actually want
Here's the thing,
it.
we
That's a
want
good segue to power and lighting and electrics, right? Because I see they're nice sconces, but not.
They're great for a
We
ship.
can do better.
Not,
We can do better.
Yeah, they're not our style. So we
and,
need lighting, speakers, because that's what creates the ambiance and the mood out here. You know, through lighting design, one of the things we want to do is have several layers of lighting, but I'm most excited about using lighting that's daylight responsive and tunable. With the Lutron lighting system, we're going to have full control over the color temperature and sound. Having speakers that are built in and painted over so that they're invisible. We have a very cool speaker system. I think light and sound really create an environment, regardless of what finishes are in the space. You know, those two things to me are probably what I'm most excited about. What are you most excited about? 2 or 3 things?
Unfortunately, we have overlap.
Yeah.
But I'll expand on what you said. I bring all the sound and the light together into, we're gonna have an intelligent home. It's not a smart home, we're gonna have an intelligent home. Basically, it'll be centrally controlled. We'll be able to control the lighting, the sound, the temperature. The HVAC system is
Shades,
incorporated
too.
into our shades. Everything about the environment will be something that is enjoyable.
You're also excited about your golf simulator too.
Well, I haven't been able to put that back together, but living in New York, I grew up playing golf. I don't get to play golf anymore, and I really miss it. So you got to do what you got to do.
You know, New York City weather is great, like a little bit of the year, and the rest we want to be able to extend our ability to use the space more. So with the fire pit, it naturally makes sense to have the kitchen and the eating over there. I don't think we want to split the dining table off. So that's all making sense. Then I think it's like, what do you do with the rest of this? I see one scenario where we have a big rectangular fire pit in the middle, and this is, I mean, it's going to get hooked up to gas. So like we're committing to that layout. But I also see another scenario where like maybe the fire pit is not the big committal of this whole space.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a more intimate, like round thing like here, and this is the corner. I mean, look at the views. Like you see Hudson Yards.
When you get that.
You see Columbus Circle. This is actually a great spot. We've never really sat here.
I definitely want to do something about the storage.
It needs to be
Yeah,
torn
we
down
need
and
to
I need to
replace
build a new
all
one.
that.
It's falling
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
I have like 72 chairs from the birthday party we threw before we had furniture.
It's great storage.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you an artsy question. What do you want it to feel like when it's all finished? What is the feeling you want to have, or something you want to reminds you of something?
I want it to be comfortable. Like, want to come out here in a summer evening after the kids go to bed and just spend my time out here as opposed to staying inside.
Sophisticated urban oasis with some layer of cozy.
Okay.
I think lighting and sound are going to be really instrumental in how we feel and experience the space. So making sure we have speakers and making sure that the plants are uplit in a cool way, and the lighting, the rest of the lighting, we're somewhat limited on based on the building, but.
So I think you're kind of saying the same thing in different words, because
so.
I think we're going to have all of that inside, right? You're going to have the lighting systems, you're going to have the speakers, you're going to have all those luxuries that you don't normally get outdoors.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to help connect it.
Yeah.
I think we do have a lot of cooler finishes, like the textiles and the rug that we pick, and the plant, maybe if we add some planters to add some warmth.
Yeah, and the fire pit. I mean, I think however we arrange the furniture will create groups of seating that bring that intimacy.
Right. And I think we didn't really talk about finishes for the kitchen section, but
No, we didn't.
if we want to keep it a little warmer, maybe we'd stay away from some of the darker metal tones, because we already have that in spades with the planters, and then look at something to add that warmth as well.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
Thanks.
When I come out, I don't have enough space
prep
to
space.
do anything.
Well, that's where I'm actually.
And I don't want to do it on the
giant
kitchen table.
But
So this is what happens when you have very impatient clients who aren't going to wait for the design concept or the floor plans, and are going to figure it out right now and start planning it. That's what happens when your client is an architect and general contractor.
all right.
Okay, I better go start drawing.
Yeah.
What else are you most excited about?
One is getting back here and having my girls grow up here and experiencing this as a family and having people and friends over. I think that's the reason I'm getting. I mean, we're building a home. I'm not building an office. I'm not building a garage. I'm not building just a general building that I'm renting out to people. I'm building a home for our family, and we want to have friends over and enjoy this.
Well, and we've worked really hard to be able to do this, which I can see the emotion, and we're grateful that we have this opportunity. And anyway.
You've seen where the project is today, but the journey to here and from here is the bigger story.
In the next episode, we're breaking down the process we use to take us from ideas to something we can actually build.
We'll dig deep and not just give you the highlight reel.
Stay tuned for more by subscribing to our series. Thanks for watching.